morning, students. We have been continuing the applications of Ampere circuitous law. Out of 3 applications given in our syllabus, one of applications, namely the determination of magnetic field due to an infinitely long current carrying straight wire, is already completed in the last class. Today we are going to do or start the determination of magnetic field well within a solenoid carrying current. Solenoid is somewhat like this. Well within the solenoid we have to find out the value of magnetic field. So let us define the solenoid first. An ideal or long solenoid consists of a long insulating, or you can say enameled, that is coating over the wire, wound in the form of a helix, where the neighboring turns are closely spaced such that each turn can be regarded as a circular loop. Here solenoid comes from a Greek word where the solen means a channel or a pipe. And the second half, that is called inward. This simply means an outer boundary or an outline. Basically, a solenoid is a component in the form of a pipe, which you can see in the figure coming to you, when one wire or one loop, you can say, is very near to the adjacent loop of the given solenoid. Now we have the definition of a solenoid, what we see on board. A solenoid is a long enameled simply mean insulated, conducting wire wound tightly over a non-conducting cylinder. First, a non-conducting cylinder is taken, over which a given long wire is wrapped just near to one another in the form of a helix, just like a coil. It is, this shape is called helix. Here what we see, the neighboring turns are closely spaced so that each turn can be regarded as circular loop. Here all the turns are very near to one another, and when you are going to wrap it like this, so the turns are, which you are going to see, is somewhat like this. This is over the given cylinder. And this cylinder is non-conducting, just to keep the wire shape intact. It is coming from upper part, that is coming somewhat like this. It is quite obvious it is coming from this side. So from one side the current will go, and from another side current will come out. So in this case what we see, the current is circulating somewhat like this. So From this side it is anti-clockwise, so it's quite obvious anti-clockwise turn is there. If you see, the anti-clock turn is somewhat like this, the current, and this is going to make north pole. And on this side current, if you see, this clockwise, so if clockwise current is there, then this is going to make south. So that is what we have to do. A given solenoid carrying current is going to make or behaving like a magnet. And here, magnetic field you can find out at each and every point if you want, that can be measured. On the axis, if you are going to find out, suppose somewhere here, at this point the net magnetic field is the vector sum of magnetic fields due to all the turns. So let's try to see it starting from the first term, and then we are going to see the derivation of magnetic field well within the solenoid, that is, you can say at the axis, for the length much greater than diameter or the radius of the given solenoid. It is called actually solenoid or ideal solenoid. The length of the solenoid is much larger as compared to the radius or diameter of the given solenoid. So let's try to start the explanation figure. Here what we see, the magnetic field due to single turn coil, the current is being shown, dotted line is inside the blackboard, solid line is outside the blackboard. So what you see from this side, if you see, it seems to be clockwise, quite obvious south pole, the fields are going inside, and from this side fields are coming out. This is due to a single turn coil. If you can draw in here, suppose this particular wire is coming out from the blackboard, so it is somewhat like dot, and this is going inside the blackboard, so it is somewhat like cross going inside. If you draw the field line should be somewhat like this. It going straight in between, it is somewhat like curved, and this side as well, the symmetrical figure. Here only the symmetricity should be there at the central line, like this. And on this side, as and when it is going near to each other, that is going to curve in this way. You can draw, and few more lines you can draw, it is up to you. This is the way. Now if you are going to see the direction, that direction which we are determined with the help of right hand rule, suppose this is the coil through which the current is flowing, I. Now we are going to put the curl of the fingers in the direction of current for circular loop. Then in that case, if we are making so from this side, the direction of curve somewhat like this, then thumb shows the direction of magnetic field. In the same way, what you see, it is somewhat like this, so we can draw like this. Field is going inside, and from this side if we see it is anti-clockwise, so field is somewhat like this. So by using the right hand rule, you can find out the direction of magnetic field. Now we are going to see for two current carrying coil near to each other. Here two figures are shown. First is having two coaxial loops we are placing, but these two are not affecting each other. We are assuming so. Suppose second is not present, and we are going to see the loop status. Here, due to first loop, the magnetic field is like this. Due to second loop, the magnetic field is like this. Now, if these two are going to affect each other, it is drawn as such that the second loop is not present. Now, when these two are actually present near to one another, and we are going to see the field state is somewhat like this. Here, actually, these two are opposite directed, so these two are going to cancel out, and none of the lines are going to intersect. That is what one property is also there. Here, these two are going to cancel out, so the field coming out, going over there, that is going to be cancelled. No field is there. And from this side, this is going to merge over here. In this way, we can think a solenoid may be thought to consist of a stack of such coaxial current carrying loop. So in this way, a number of continuous loops are to be present in solenoid, and each one magnetic fields are going to affect others as well, other field as well. So net magnetic field at any given point will be due to the vector sum of the fields of each one of the loop over there. Let us try to see one thing, that at far away places the fields are oppositely directed. Here the field from within the two loops facing each other, the field sign lines are rightward, and at far away places you will see that this field line direction or magnetic direction is opposite to this one. Here also what you see, this is due to the sum or vector sum of the fields that is oppositely directed. So in the same way, the magnetic field due to a number of loops can be determined. Here what we see, actually magnetic field is going to form a continuous loop. There is nothing like starts from positive charge, ends on negative charge in electrostatics or electric field lines. Here these two coils are shown with their individual fields. Now this is the effect, combined effect of the two coils and the fields due to them. So that is already explained to all of you. Now we are coming to this. These two figures are shown in NCERT. This is the stress section of a solenoid. Just to clarify the figure, here you know that field current is coming out and that is going in. This is the wire. The black color is just the wire which is coming out of blackboard and here going inside the blackboard, and red color current is being shown over there. So it's quite obvious current you see, this is anti-clockwise. So if you curl the finger anti-clockwise like this, in that case this is the direction of thumb, so that is showing the direction of magnetic field and that is being shown. Accordingly you are going to see here. This is the cross-sectional view. Suppose these wires what is shown outside the blackboard, that is invisible, then you can see the picture of magnetic fields somewhat like this. So this is the cross-sectional. Dot is wires are coming out, cross means wires are going in, or current is going in, not wires, but it's quite obvious current is going in. As far as field is concerned, here you see all the fields are concentrated. So only in this zone all the field lines are going to be confined, all you can say. But outside they are having ample amount of space to complete the loop. So here they are spreading out, or they are going to separate it apart, that is better to say. So here number of field lines per unit area. So what we see, the confined zone for field inside the solenoid is this. Outside it is largely separated. So you can say number of field lines per unit area is more within the solenoid than the outside, and this is known as magnetic field strength. So it's quite obvious magnetic field strength outside here, say at point Q, if it is shown there at Q, is less than magnetic field at point P, well within the solenoid. And with the increment in length of the solenoid, or for ideal solenoid, this value is, this separation is increasing, and thus we can say the magnetic field outside is approximately equal to 0, and magnetic field inside, that is going to increase with number of field lines. And you can not only increase, it's very confined in a very small cross-sectional area, so we can say it's very, very large. And if with the increment in length, or to very large extent, when this particular conditional length much larger than the radius of the solenoid, we shall get the very strong value of magnetic field, the uniform along the axis, and outside the weak value of field. So that is what the explanation of a solenoid. For all practical purposes, the field outside the solenoid we are going to take as 0, and inside let it be B, for practical purposes, for ideal or long solenoid. And let us try to find the expression of magnetic field well within the solenoid using Ampere circuital law. So we are going to see that. Consider a section of a long solenoid, say this is of length L, having n number of turns. So let L assumed length or observed length, where we are going to see observed length, n number of turns included in it of the wire. Here this current is coming out, going in. Here also current is coming out, going in, like this. This dot source current is coming out, cross source current is going in. So say from here to here n number of turns are there in this particular length L. So there is a term called small n, that is denoted as number of turns per unit length. So from here this n is equal to capital N divided by L, equation number 1. Here we know from previous explanations that magnetic field inside is uniform, strong and along the axis, and outside the magnetic field is assumed to be 0 or very weak. We know how. So for this we have to draw an Amperian loop. That Amperian loop will be rectangular in shape. So let us try to see this as an Amperian loop, what I am drawing. This Amperian loop is of length say h, and this width is say w. We are naming this Amperian loop in A, B, C, D. So in this case, here we consider a rectangular Amperian loop, or Amperian loop say A, B, C, D of length h and width w, as shown. Here this part is inside and rest of the part outside. We know how to find out the line integral of magnetic field first. So line integral of magnetic field all along the length is denoted for whole loop, the rectangular loop, integral b dot dl. This is equal to integral b dot dl from A to B plus integral b to C, the same line integral, plus C to D and plus D to A. This is going to complete the whole loop. What we shall have is, in this case A to B, when we are traversed from A to B, the direction of dl or L, length traversed, and B, that is the magnetic field direction, remains same. So what we see here, this is at this place we can write it as integral B into dl into cos 0 degree from A to B. And all along AB, the magnetic field B, strength B is constant, so we can take it out as well. That we can do. From B to C, what we see, there are two parts from this to this. In this direction, B and DL are, I mean the magnetic field B is rightward and magnetic DL is upward. So in that case, these two are making an angle 90 degree. So in this case, there are two parts of it. The first part I am going to write as B to B dash. Say here it is, we are taking B dash. It is B into DL into cos 90 degree. Or you can write completely from first half is B to C directly I am writing. And second half it is outside. So we can say for this the magnetic field outside the solenoid is 0. So we can say this as 0 into dl into cos of the angle theta. We do not know what is the angles. Actually, outside the map, solenoid magnetic field is assumed to be 0. In the same way, from C to D, this is C to D. Whatsoever may be length, the magnetic field is 0. So we are going to B into dl into cos theta. So here 0, here also we are getting cos 90 0, here 0, so this thing. Last we are left with D to A. D to A is same as that of from B to C. So that can we write here D to A. There are two parts. One outside we are taking magnetic field 0, 0 into dl into cos theta, and inside these two are making 90 degree, either cos minus 90 or cos plus 90, that remains same. So that is equal to here B into dl into cos of 90 degree. So from here, this goes 0, this term 0, this term 0, this term 0, and this is also 0. So we are left with this, and we know, I just said that this B is constant through all along the length almost. So that is a constant, so we can take it out. Integration B, integration dl, and that is from A to B. What is the length from A to B? That is equal to h. We had already written length h. So this is B into h. So what we have, integral B dot dl for whole rectangular Amperian loop is equal to B into h. This is the equation number 2. Now we know the Ampere's circuit law. What is Ampere's circuit law? Integral B dot dl equal to mu naught I. So we know Ampere's circuit law, B dot dl is equal to mu naught times I net. What is I net? I net is net current crossing the area enclosed by this loop or given loop. So I net is the number of turns multiplied by the current. How we are going to find number of turns? We know for unit length, number of turns is small n. So for that much length, number of turns is small n into h. So total number of turns that is coming out from here, or wires coming out from here, is small n into h. So total current what we shall have is I net is equal to number of turns that comes out, that is equal to small n into h. Why small n into h? That is small n is number of turns per unit length. So for h length, the total number of turns that is coming out of from this Amperian loop area or surface, we can say, it's better to say surface, is n into h, and current through each other turn is say I. We have to mention here I as number current through each other turn. We can mention here I as number of turn, current amount of current that is coming out through each turn. So this is net current. Now we have to take care of sign as well. We are actually traversing along this. So that is the direction of traversal is anti-clockwise. That is curl or fingers are in anti-clockwise direction. Thumb is outward. In this direction the current will be positive, and here the currents are coming outside. So that is treated as positive. Thumb here outward, so we can take this as positive. That is why we have taken positive, so no need to change. So I net we have equation number 3, and this is equation number 4. Now we have this is Ampere's circuit law. Use I net value and B dot dl value from 2 and 4 in 3. So we can put the value of these two using equation 2 and 4 in 3. So what we shall have, integral B dot dl is B into h equal to mu naught I net. I net is n into h into I. These two h cancelled out. So B equal to mu naught ni. Here you can put the value of n as well. So this is B equal to mu naught. N is number of turns per unit length into I. These two can also be taken as the formula. So this is the magnetic field strength well within the solenoid. Actually, in simplest form we are finding it out. There is one more way to find out the magnetic field at any point of the solenoid. You will come to know at the end of solenoid somehow, though it is not written in our syllabus or anywhere, B and L is just half of inside. That is equal to mu naught Ni divided by 2. We can derive by it in different way. I can give you the idea how to derive so that you can do it. So how to determine the magnetic field inside as well as outside at any point. Let us try to see some numericals based on it. Now we have one numerical from NCERT 4.8 problem set. A closely wound solenoid 80 centimeter long. So length is given. Length you are given 80 centimeter. Convert in SI, so that is 0.8 meter. Had 5 layers of windings. So suppose one layer is there, over this 2 layer is there. So in total, one over another, what we see 5 layers are there. Suppose first layer is somewhat like this, another layer above this, third layer, fourth layer, fifth layer. In this way, all the solenoids are being, so all are having like this. So 5 layers, and each layers are having how many turns? 400 turns each. So total number of turns is are how much or how many? You can say number of turns, number of layers into number of turns in each layer. So in total, this is going to be 2000 number of turns. And next is diameter you are given. So N you are given, L you are given, diameter of the solenoid, that is 1.8 centimeter, or it is 0.018 meter. That is what you have. And you have to find out the current. If the current carried is 8 ampere, so I value is 8 ampere. So I is also given. Estimate the magnitude of magnetic field inside the solenoid near its center. We know the straight solenoid is having formula mu naught N/L. So that is equal to, what is mu naught? 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 SI unit. Number of turns you are given 2000. Current you are given 8 ampere. 8.0 is there, 8 ampere, and L what you have is 0.8 meter. So here this is 10 times. So finally 4 2s are 8 pi into 10 to the power 4, and this minus 3. The 10 to the power minus this much Tesla. So magnetic field is this much Tesla in along the axis. So that is what you have. You can put the value of pi and get the result as well. The length of a solenoid is 0.1 meter in next question. Diameter is very small. A wire is wound over it. So in 2 layers, the number of turns in inner layer is 50. So this is the inner layer. Let's say one outer layer will also be there. So here number of layers are 2, and inner is having number of turns 50, and that of outer layer is 40. Number of turns in outer layer is 40, and both are having same length. The strength of current flowing in 2 layers in opposite direction is quite obvious. Strength of current in opposite direction 3 ampere. So in one current in this direction, another current in this direction. So that is what we have. So magnetic field quite obvious, oppositely directed. So magnetic field due to 1 and 2 are opposite. Due to first one is mu naught N1 by L into I minus mu naught N2 by L into I. Both are having same current. So it's quite obvious, mu naught I by L N1 minus N2. Mu naught 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7, and we have to find out actually magnetic induction. That is why we are doing so at the middle of solenoid. I, that is also given to you, that I is equal to 3 ampere. So that is 3 divided by L. The length given is 0.1 meter. N1 is 50, and N2 is 40. So this 0.1 at 10. This is going to be 100, and 4 3 are 12 pi into 10 to the power minus 5 Tesla. That is what we have the answer. So this is the second question, and now next class we are going to do the toroid or endless solenoid.